Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the Blood Hunter Order of the Mutant subclass in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a mod that's made by LemonsSoup here. I've covered the other three subclasses. This class was originally made by Matt Mercer, who voices Minsc in Baldur's Gate 3, and you may notice this appearance and outfit that I got on my character. This is actually the Ciri's clothing mod, or Ciri's clothes mod by Wesslen on Nexus mods. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll recognize I used to always have this outfit on Shadowheart. Now, with the Blood Hunter, we get special blood curses here, which allows us to apply a effect on an enemy and amplify it. Now, one thing to note is this does not affect bloodless creatures, so they have to be blood. But also, some of the effects here are very good. So the Blood Curse of the Anxious, when you amplify, can give it a disadvantage on wisdom saves, which can set up our spellcasters a lot better. You can also mark enemies, increasing the damage that they take, which is really nice, and then also give yourself advantage on attack rolls against them. This one's also great for breaking concentrations, and my personal favorites would be to go with the Bloated Agony for this build, and then also go with the Curse of the Mark. So this is going to give the enemy extra damage if they get attacked or if they attack us. And as far as stat spreads would go, I'd recommend going 16 Dexterity. We can use Fowler Aloof in the early game. This just gives us a higher initiative and armor class, 14 Constitution, 16 Intelligence, and 12 Wisdom. I find this works well. If you're the face of the party, you can put some points into Charisma. Level 2, we get a very fun ability. We get the Rights here. So you get the Right of the Flame, Frozen, and Storm, adding a 1d4 of each lightning, fire, or cold damage until long rest. And this will damage us as it's a Hemocraft magic. So my personal preference is the Right of the Frozen, as I find that cold damage is really good with a lot of buffs to it. And the fighting style I'd recommend is actually defense for a +1 to our armor class when we wear armor. That is just really good. Now, once we get to level 3 here, we get a subclass, and we're going to go with the Mutant. Now, the Mutant's kind of cool, so this gives us the ability to use formulas, which have a variety of different effects, both positive and negative. I'll quickly go through them. Advantage on Charisma checks, -1 to Initiative. Dexterity score increases by 3, disadvantage on Wisdom saves, it's very bad. Advantage on Intelligence checks, disadvantage on Wisdom checks. Advantage on Dexterity, disadvantage. Wisdom checks having a disadvantage is really bad, because, yeah, Command and Hold Person will hit you really easily. Becoming resistance to fire and prevent it from being burning, you get vulnerable to cold damage. With this, resistance to cold and chilled and get vulnerable to fire damage. Resistance to piercing, vulnerable to slashing. You can't be grappled and restrained, get disadvantage on stealth checks. That one's not too bad if you don't want to use stealth. Also, Night Eye will give you the ability to see in magical darkness, which is really good. This is my personal favorite, disadvantage on wisdom checks. One thing to note is that if you have the Resonance Stone and are going to use like Shadowblade and Darkness, this doesn't really matter because the Resonance Stone will give these negative effects either way. This gives advantage on Wisdom, disadvantage on Charisma, Strength increases by 3, movement speed increases by 3 with the disadvantages there, Intelligence, Resistances, and this one gives you another Blood Maledict charge, but you get disadvantage on death saving throws. I like to go with the Dexterity score increases by 3, the Magical Darkness Vision. Advantage on Charisma is quite nice as well, and you can use this sporadically when you need that advantage. And then also being immunity to restrained. Grapple isn't really a thing in the Baldur's Gate 3, but these are really good choices. And at level 4, we get ourselves a feat. Now, I'd recommend going to the Dexterity increase or the Alert feat, because this gives us a +5 to Initiative, and if we can go first, that's really good. Obviously, the Blood Hunter's big thing is they can deal a pretty good amount of damage because they get that extra 1d4 of Elemental on their attacks, which at level 5 will scale up to 1d6. So it's really nice. So, honestly, a pretty interesting way of scaling in terms of its overall damage output. You'll see the Brand of Castigation here. So you can sear an arcane brand into a creature you attack with a Crimson Right, and each time that the branded creature deals damage to you or a nearby ally, you can retaliate equally, doing your intelligence modifier and damage to them. You also get to take another Blood Curse here. Now, I recommend grabbing the Blood Curse of the Anxious here, giving disadvantage on Wisdom saves is really nice. If we go to level 20, you get all of these, so not to worry. Level 7 gives us a subclass feature, the Strange Metabolism. You're immune to poison damage and the poison condition. Great, you can hide it in Cloud Kill now. And we also get the Adrenaline Burst, the triggered a burst of adrenaline that lets you temporarily resist the negative effects of all ingested mutagens for 10 turns. That's good. Nothing else to say there. That's really good. And then this lets us take another one. So I'd recommend getting the increase in movement speed. I think that's just really nice for our style of play. We can also take another Crimson right here, but it's going to be pre-selected for you. I like just sticking with the cold one, but Lightning is decent as well. At this point, we can go with even Savage Attacker to reroll our damage die, which is really good because we're going to do a lot of damage extra with this. You could also go with a Dexterity increase too. Level 9, Grim Psychometry. We get advantage on history checks. It's good to have. And at level 10, we get our Dark Augmentation, increases our movement speed and adds a bonus to our saving throws, which will appear at a moment. And then we also get to take the another curse here. And I actually like the Blood Curse of the Eyeless, which can help protect your teammates. This is a reaction to reduce an attack roll by 1d6. Pretty good stuff. And at level 11, we get a Hemocraft Magic now, 1d8. And the brand of the Axion there, kind of same thing as previously. We also get another detox version, and we also get some new formulas. So the Aether there lets you fly for 30 rounds, disadvantage on strength and dexterity checks, advantage on intelligence checks, disadvantage on wisdom. My favorite, cruelty. Whenever you use this, you make a free additional attack after making an unarmed or weapon attack, gain disadvantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, which again, if you get the resonance stone, already going to be happening to you. Obviously, that's very bad if not, but yeah, you can mitigate that by using another item and buffing yourself up in other ways. I'd actually recommend a level 12 to take a dexterity increase, better initiative, and it'll offset the -2 initiative we would get from getting charisma check advantage. Now, we can stay at level 12 or go to level 20 here. Your choice entirely. I'm going to show off the level 20 version just so you can see all the features that are available here, because you do continue to keep taking blood curses. Like you can take the muddled mind there to break concentrations. We had to take the final rite of the storm too, and level 16 gives us an increase. Die now 1d10, so we're going to deal even further damage. We can go with a dexterity increase to further boost that up. Or if there's other feats that you like, the tough feat being a good one because we're going past the level curve there for 40 extra health. And level 17 gives us another Blood Maledict charge. The icon's not showing up there for it. Level 18 gives us another choice of our Blood Curse, and we're gonna get all of them, so that's cool. Level 19, you get to take another feat. As mentioned, Tough is a good choice. Sentinel is also pretty good, so your personal preference between the two of those. I had a really rough build yesterday that got me down, so I'm going to take that. And level 20, health. And we also get our dexterity score to increase to 5 now with the celerity, which is pretty good, so huge buff. Now for equipment, we can actually get a very high armor class because adding on the armor of agility, we add our full dexterity modifier with a base 17 armor class and +2 to saving throws, which is pretty high. We'd have taken that further if I were to put on the gloves and the boots to give a +1 armor class, but yeah, 31 is really high. We don't need that much. Now, we also can benefit greatly from the Shadow Cloak ring because we can see a magical darkness, so we can set that up and get an additional 1d4 of extra damage on our attacks. I also like the Snowburst ring, so when we do ice surfaces, whenever we attack with that cold damage on our right, we're going to apply a surface blow to the enemy, which can make them slip and fall. Very funny. Amulet Greater Health or whatever amulet you want to use. I have the Helm of Baldur, but if you're in Act 1, you could use the Haste Helmet, get increased movement speed. It's always a good choice. And also Cloak Protection, Deathstalker Mantle, your preference there. Armor of Agility, just best in slot. You can also go with the Masterwork Unwanted Sail Mail there, which is pretty good because this adds your full dexterity modifier and resistance to fire damage. So this is going to be 1 point less in armor class, which is a really good choice too. You could also go with the Ballast Armor and go with a piercing damage setup, which is pretty effective as well. But your personal preference, it's a mod build. Now, I like the Dark Justice Air Gauntlets here because this is going to give us additional necrotic damage on our attacks. Normally, I like the Hellas Gloves if we're going to be attacking, adding extra damage, but we have cold damage. The fire will actually melt the ice that we set up here, so necrotic damage actually works very well together, and I'm going to go with that. And then we also got the Helldesk Boots, which will give us the ability to walk on that ice, and then we can also teleport around, a few other effects. I also like Fowler Aloof for a weapon. This is a dexterity-based weapon that you could get at the start of the game, and Viconia's Walking Fortress. But for other weapons that you could also use, if you wanted to invest in the strength, Nyrolna is always a good choice. A very powerful weapon. If you want to go with a two-handed weapon, the Sword of Chaos, and you need to be obviously strength spec or using a healing potion, this can heal you, and then you can use the Periapta Wound Closure to get 12 health back for 2 attacks per action. Pretty great. I'm actually going to throw Nyrolna on for the extra thunder damage. It's pretty nice. And you also get the ring adding extra damage too, and extra movement speed. Actually, no, you know what? We'll stick with Fowler Aloof. Keep it feeling like Ciri and The Witcher. We'll go with that. All right, so before combat started, I actually buffed on my weapon, and oddly enough, someone just fell through the floor. I don't know what happened. Unfortunately, couldn't record that, but I also pre-casted the Fowler Aloof debuff because that extra damage rider is really nice, and it's also going to debuff all the enemies here. Now, I guess the first thing to do is try to get this attack chain started, so I'm not going to use a free crit here. We're actually really good because we set up ice surfaces there and do the additional thunder damage, so we actually had a lot of extra riders, even ones that you don't see on here. We get that extra necrotic, the extra slashing, the extra cold, but also the extra thunder that we just proc there. Now that target's on ice, so they're going to take time to be able to stand up off it. We didn't kill them, but we also have the brand of Axiom we can do, which will apply additional psychic damage whenever they attack. So I would also recommend, since we can see a magical darkness with one of the mutagens, to set ourselves up with an arrow of darkness. So you can shoot this at a close target, even if you have disadvantage at hitting them. You can even force the crit to make sure it does land. But now we have a darkness pocket that we can actually hide out in. And what's funny is ice will stack with darkness, so we're actually able to set up the ice surfaces on top of that. And then we can wrap around with an arrow of many targets, as this is going to do a pretty good amount of damage in a large area of effect. Roll the free crit, it'll crit everybody, which is nice because that took out another target there. And we can then also use our our random mutagens to use the cruelty free attack. If I had a short rest, I'd be able to do that. But yeah, I guess we could go with one of the blood curses here to be able to apply a debuff, or we could also shake off all the negative effects of our abilities there, which is cool. I really like the blood curse of the bloated agony though. If there's a target that's going to be attacking often, put this on them. They're going to basically get drained whenever they deal damage. So yeah, put it on one that's low in health like this one here, and we're gonna have a good time. All right, so he took 5 damage twice there. That was really good because he attacked twice. They're getting on with Shadow Heart, so I got to do something about it. Now, if we actually were nice, they had a bit of damage there, so we were able to take them out. Call the Weak obviously being a very powerful ability. Using a weapon that we can't double its damage is kind of rough, so if you really want to maximize the damage output, Shadow Blade would be a good choice, but honestly think that even just with the attacks, setting up the difficult terrain, it's pretty solid. Now, again, we have our darkness pocket here that keeps us safe, which is super useful, so we can kind of camp out here and attack anyone that we have a hard time reaching. Arrow of many targets being really nice. I'm using the Hellrider longbow, so that applied Fairy Fire on this target, which is pretty useful. And then we now have our bonus action. So I'd actually recommend going, I like the Blood Agony, especially attacking it and putting this on anyone that's going to be doing weapon attacks, because then they're going to take that 1d8 or 1d10 necrotic damage every time that they attack. And they ended up dying from it. That's hilarious. So yeah, they attacked a couple times and it was enough to take them out. That's why I like the Curse of the Bloated Agony. It's kind of my favorite one just due to getting effects like that. If there's a target that's low on health, they're going to take that damage. And it was funny because they were actually taking, got the reverberate or the thunder damage from our sword on. And Arrow of Many Targets is great because we kind of struggle with area of effect damage. But one of the nice things about this is, if we, that's perfect what I wanted to showcase right there. When we have darkness pockets, we're going to have advantage often, and that's great because this gives us a higher critical hit chance. And with the Arrow of Many Targets, when you get a critical hit, you're much more likely to be able to spread the damage around multiple enemies, so that's really good. Now, the unfortunate part is you don't get the right damage on there, but the enemies aren't coming anywhere towards us, so it's kind of where I'm forced to do. But if there's a spellcaster that's really messing with you, the Muddled Mind is really nice because you can just apply this on them, and they will have a disadvantage on it here. So they do require concentration to be able to apply this, but you can also silence them with this. So this is really good. It's more reactive than proactive. Whereas this one, you can apply the disadvantage to wisdom saves, and this is also going to be really good whenever you're going to cast like whole person in command. I'm not going to take any chance. I'm just going to attack and finish this target off here. So yeah, that is the Blood Hunter Order of the Mutant in Baldur's Gate 3. I think this is a really fun subclass and or class mod with 4 really distinct subclasses. I've covered them all now, so you can check those all out if you're curious. The LemonsSoup creator has done a great job with this one here, so yeah, big fan. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed. I hope you guys all have a great day.